This is going to be part 2 of the little Troy-Bilt engine swap. I ran into some issues yesterday with the replacement engine. Those issues are hopefully now being solved. What happened was a bolt snapped off. I did do a brief video yesterday, and instead of just running with 3 bolts, I decided to change out the sumps. And then once I pulled the sump off the replacement engine, it was missing the governor and oil slinger. So luckily I had the parts engine, so I was able to put those parts in, and the sump. And then I was having issues with the oil seal on the crank. I'm hoping it's good now. It should be, but I'm unsure. The block seems to be okay at the base. It's just the crank seal, oil seal, whatever you want to call it, may or may not be leaking. I did briefly run this last night and it smoked like a banshee. I had put oil in the head, just helped lubricate the top end. This engine had been sitting for quite some time, so I wanted to lubricate up everything, and it was tight at first, but that's why I oiled it, and everything seems to be okay now. Also, the starter crapped out on this last night, so that's yet another thing I had to end up replacing from. Luckily I had one in the Horde. So again, if I would have paid full price for this machine, I would have been pretty pissed off once I found out that starter was dead. So I'm happy, like I said, I got it for what I got it for. And if he would have sold this to somebody else, they probably would not be very happy with him. Personally, I try to sell halfway decent equipment. If I know there's something wrong with it, I will disclose it, obviously. But I'm into it for cheap enough, so even if I do run into more issues down the road, I'll still be able to fix them and still make my money back and then some. But I'm just about ready to put the gas tank back in. The wiring is connected to the engine. I gotta tighten it up still. I'm just gonna put the gas tank in. I'm not going to put any of the other stuff on this. I want to start it up and let it run, and make sure everything's gonna run okay, and I'll go from there. But the engine side of everything should be good. The drive is all hooked back up. Also, that's on one of these machines isn't really a fun job. You got to take out half the drive to get to 2 of the engine bolts anyways. Also, it uses one of the back, let's say if you're facing the engine from here, the back right one at the top, sorry, the top right one, it uses that one as an idler pulley and an engine bolt. It's easy to get at, but you cannot get a ratchet on there. You got to use a wrench, so it's involved. This type of engine, to do one of these on this machine at a garage or a lawnmower shop would be quite expensive. It's definitely about an hour's job to get the old engine out, an hour's job to get the new engine in. Then countering the cost of an engine, it's not worth it to replace one of these engines. You got to take off all this right here just to get at the engine, and underneath there's a lot of stuff you got to take apart as well. So that's where I'm at right now on this. It's getting there. Hopefully it will fire up. The electrical side knows good on this machine. It's just now hooking everything up to the engine and getting fuel in. That's mainly what I gotta do right now, and I'll have to bypass the safeties to crank it up and hear it run. Like I mentioned before, no backfire prevention solenoid. It's been deleted. I'm also using the stock wiring harness from the original engine, even though the wiring harness from the replacement engine would have worked, but since I got rid of the backfire prevention solenoid, it's one less wire I got to deal with. And go around here. Also, I had to replace the muffler coupler right here. It was different between the 2 engines. It looked very similar, but it was just a little bit different. And that was easy. Stay tuned for more, so I'll talk to you later. Please keep redneck like always, and please comment.